So we're going to start. Um, do you want the lights down? Thank you. We're very happy today to have Greg Day from PSL here. He is the Vice President of Technology for PSL. So he's got a very vital job at this point in time because it's something that every institution and every individual are dealing with at this time. He has a long experience in something related to technology. Check my notes. He's worked in higher education for technology and also information security. So he came to PSL with a lot of experience behind him and is eager to use it. So before we get started, I want everybody to check your pocket, dig down in your bag, make sure that your phone is either muted or turned off. And the second thing for you to remember is that this is being streamed. People cannot hear your questions if you don't use a mic. So you must use a mic if you have a question. And I've asked Nancy and Leslie if they'll each keep their eyes out for people who have their hand raised. So right now, I introduce Greg Day, and we're happy to have him here.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm here to scare you today because I want you to think about the state of computing these days. I picked up my first computer, I don't know, 1977, crazy. I've been there all this time, okay? And what I've seen in the last 10 to 15 years scares me to death because there's a whole new world out there, and you know what they want? They want everything you have. They do. They want your identity, they want your money, they want it all. I'm going to show you today ways to protect yourself. And like I said, I want to scare the hell out of you because this is serious stuff, okay? People need to be thinking, and I hate to say this, don't trust anything in a computer anymore. It's just not that way. You know, somebody that you know sends you a link, you click on it, and you're compromised. Well, what happened? They were compromised, okay? So I'm going to give you a bunch of tips and tricks. There'll be some fun and laughs. There'll be some sadness too. Well, maybe not. Maybe me, because I'm sad when I'm done. But you know what? You're all going to learn something here today. I promise you that. And I want you to take this stuff and put it into practice in your life. It's getting worse, and AI is going to make it even exponentially worse. But there again, there is a silver lining. It's pay attention. The key things you're going to hear from me today, slow down, pay attention to details, and don't trust anybody in the computing world. That's good sense, okay? So information security is a responsibility that belongs to everyone. I'm not going to read that verbatim, but I'm going to tell you, we spend a lot of money. All companies spend a lot of money on the back end. I'll tell you what, I can provide all of you. I will send it to artists. I'll send this presentation so that you all, because I have a PDF version of it. Because there's links at the end. There's some good stuff in here for you. I will get it to you, I promise. Okay, so we spend a lot of money on the back end protecting systems. Do you know what the weak part is? It's us. It's human, because we don't always do the smartest things. We're in a hurry. We want to do this. We want to do that.
Take notes if you have the lights off. Thank you.
Okay. So, there again, even with all these security measures in place, it all boils down to you all paying attention. Okay? Stay alert. Cyber threats are becoming increasingly sophisticated. It used to be the simple thing. So, by the way, we'll talk about some terminology, but they call it phishing because I throw out this gigantic net to 1 million people. Somebody's going to respond to me. Okay, somebody's going to get caught in that net. That's why it's called phishing, because I'm sending out just 1 million emails and somebody's going to respond. Okay? Always remain attentive to details. I've told you this before when I first started. I don't even trust emails I get from someone I know if it's out of the ordinary. Oh, hey, Greg, haven't talked to you in a while. Would you review this Word document for me? Well, first of all, you sent me an attachment. I may know you, but you didn't tell me that was coming. You need to be careful because your friends, your family, they get pinched, they get hacked, and then what happens? They go through their address book and they send the same stuff to everybody that they know, and that's not on the person that was compromised. That's after the threat actors have taken over. Okay, and we'll talk about some of these terms here. If something seems suspicious, don't take action. This is the number one thing I'm going to tell you today. You always need to be in control of what you're doing. Don't let an email, a phone call, or a text dictate what you're going to do. Step back and say, look, and we'll talk about this in a minute, but the one of the big ones going around now is the toll scams, getting a text saying, hey, you owe X. And you know what? It's usually, I have a slide for it, so I'll save it for. But that kind of stuff goes around and people get caught up in it. Okay? We need to pay attention and remember, you need to be in control of your action. Don't let some sort of communication force you to do something that you don't want to do or that you're questioning. When in doubt, delete. Repeat after me. When in doubt, delete. Exactly. And when uncertain, ask for help, please. Ask anyone, someone, another pair of eyes. Does this look right to you? I've been at PSL about 18 months now. I probably get 10 emails a week from people saying, hey, is this legit? I'd rather take that time and tell them yes or no than them act on that email on their own. When in doubt, ask for help. It makes a big difference. So I want to throw some terminology out here. We're going to talk about some different terms today. So cybersecurity is the protection of computer systems and networks from attacks by malicious actors that can cause unauthorized information disclosure, theft hardware, etc. They're after assets. Your personal data, I think, is worth about $175 now. Every person, your address, all that type of stuff together, it's worth about $175. People get these great big, gigantic data breaches. I used to say, what are they going to do with all that data? We don't have the compute power. Then AI comes along. We'll talk about that too. So phishing I talked about. And phishing has gotten much more sophisticated over the last several years, okay? I can make an email look like it comes from anywhere. I can make an email look like it comes from the FBI. It's real easy to spoof email addresses. So don't take what you see as gospel. Your bank's never going to send you an email saying, hey, we're upgrading our system. We need you to log back in because we lost your password, whatever. I've got a secret for you. I'm going to give you a couple of them today. One of them is IT doesn't know your passwords. They're encrypted to us too. How do you think security works? Like it would only make sense that nobody can see that. So when you get that email saying, hey, I need you to log back in, something's wrong, if you feel uncomfortable, call the bank or contact them from a known means. Like, I always use this phone number on my phone. I always use this website. Don't click on links in email, because do you know why? Because you don't know where that link's going to take you. It can say it's taking you to Apple Computer, but it can take you somewhere completely else, somewhere else. I'll have examples of that coming up too. So this is the big one. Social engineering. Okay, I've been in the compute business really as long as it's been. And the way people used to get into systems is they used computers, they brute force hacked, they tried password and password. I don't need to do that anymore. I can get I bet I could get 80% of you in this classroom to give up your password by just asking a few questions. I have a funny video coming up that shows how easily people give up that information without thinking. So continuing on terminology, credentials, they're the unique set of identifiers, the username and password. These are your credentials. These are your keys, the keys to your kingdom, your bank, your insurance, anything. Those credentials are the same as this. So you know what? If I'm going to do that, I have no security. If I'm just going to willy-nilly not pay attention to where my keys are, those are your credentials. Those credentials are your keys to that account. Protect them with the same veracity that you would protect your house keys. Things like that. Don't give out that information to anyone at any time. No legitimate company is going to call them and say, hey, we'll log into the system here with you. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way. So credentials, you need to protect them. So I'm going to protect my credentials right now. Multi-factor authentication. If you are not using this in your life, start. It's free. Any company that you deal with legitimately, your bank, even email, anything will allow you to use a second factor. So what that is I use my username and password, but then there's a second factor. That can be a key, like a little, a key that generates random numbers. It can be a text, it can be a phone call, and it can be an application such as Microsoft Authenticator or Duo. But you definitely want that second factor, because if somebody gives up if somebody somehow gets your credentials, if they don't have access to that second factor, they're not getting into your account. So even if I gave you my username and password to get into PSL, you can't get in because you don't have the Authenticator app tied to that. You want to enable multi-factor in any accounts that you care about. Like I said, it's free. There's no cost. Your bank, email, they'll tell you whether you use a key or the apps, but it's free. Do it. It's a second authentication. It's good for you. The most hackable ones are text and phone. So I really like the Authenticator app, do you have a YubiKey with you? I'm going to have him show his YubiKey. This is a multi-factor key.
It's in a protective envelope here, but if you ignore the blue wrapper, there's a little key. You can see the silver tip of it. You plug that into the computer, and it's got a secret password. Can you see that? I'm sorry. Here we are. Yeah. It's a small device that plugs into the computer that has your secret pass key in it, which it communicates to whatever device you're trying to log into. You want to show it around?
Well, I just kind of wanted to show, like, see, it's just a small little device, and he has to have this to plug into his machine, or he will not be able to access that account. So that's another really nifty way. Uh-huh.
Yes, how do you get it?
You need to have somebody helping with mics. Question, do you use that on your home computer? And if so, why?
Keep one mic. You keep a mic, and then you get.
There we go. Yeah, I bought this online. You can buy it in almost any computer store, and it plugs into the computer. You can use it in any computer that you go to when you try to log. For example, I'm a Microsoft person, so my Microsoft account requires this to be plugged into whatever computer I'm trying to connect my Microsoft account to. I also use it to purchase things from Amazon, but I can't log into my Amazon account from any place unless I have this key. And if you're thinking about this, here's a very important point that they are quick to point out to anyone who buys one. Instead of buying one, you need to buy two, because if I lose this key, I'm locked out of every account that I need to get into with it. So I've got, every time I log into an account and register this key, I have a backup that I also register and then I put in a very safe place. So if I lose this, I'm not locked out of that account. So that's very important with these types of devices. They get lost.
It's called YubiKey. YubiKey. Okay, it's called a YubiKey. I'm just answering that, but I'm also asking a question, which is, what if you are doing your e-commerce on your smartphone? How does the YubiKey work with that?
You can buy different versions of this YubiKey, and it's YUBIKEY. The company is YUBICO, Yubico. They produce different versions of this, and one of those versions, and this one is one of those types, has something called UFC. It's a wireless connection, so I can use that with my cell phone. My cell phone doesn't have a connector that I can physically plug this into, but it does a wireless connection. So if you hold it up against my cell phone, and I think most cell phones have that wireless connectivity on them, it'll connect wirelessly, and I can log in then using the key.
That's a fantastic setup. You had a question?
Just technically, the little nose of that thing, is that the old semi-oval or the new oval, like USB-C?
It's USB-C.
Okay,
It's
so
USB-C,
so,
and it's a Type-C USB, yeah.
so
It's a
my
smaller one.
my legacy laptop cannot take that. There used to be a different configuration of the tiny nose on a USB thing that goes in, and now they're more oval. The new
Yeah,
and the
there's a
old.
Type A USB connector and a
That thing.
Type C.
This is real
But-
simple. One is like a rectangle. Sorry. One is like a rectangle and the other's like a little oval. Almost anything made in the last 5 years is going to be this. This is older. But for you that had the other, you can put an adapter on it,
Yeah.
I'm sure, and adapt from USB-C to what they used to call USB micro, which looks like this.
Yeah, the adapters are just a couple of bucks from any computer store.
We'll get there.
I'm relatively knowledgeable, but I think people are confused about even looking at that drawing. Do you hold on to the one part, and what is the other part, the end that gets inserted?
Those are the ends that get inserted, that shape that I drew there.
Greg, do you want to pass this around for people to take a look at? I've got it back up.
Pass around, but
All
keep
right.
an eye on it.
Please make sure I get it back, but take a look at it.
And I will say that's one of the more complicated ways. The Authenticator app works very well. Yes, seeing is believing. Okay. So the last thing on this page is compromised account. Okay, somebody's gotten into your account. So instant messaging, email, websites, easy way for everybody to stay connected. I mean, that's what we use the internet for. But it also, shop, plan, travel, manage finances. Many scammers target Americans 65 or older via emails and websites for charitable donations, online dating services, online auctions, buyers club, health insurance, etc. And many of the crimes that occur in real life happen on the internet too. Credit card fraud, identity theft, embezzlement can all be done online. Any of you see the movie The Beekeeper? Jason Statham. Okay, he's that action guy. He kills a lot of people. But The Beekeeper is one of the best realistic hacks I've ever. So the premise of the movie is he's living with this woman on a farm. He takes care of bees. She gets on the phone with tech support because something's happening to her computer, and they steal all her money, including like a $2 million fund that she took care of as a caretaker of that group. She ended up killing herself because she lost everything, blah. So he goes after these guys. So the whole point of this is the way they depict those hackers is the real world now. This isn't kids sitting in basements anymore. These are corporations. They're overseas, but they have a president, they have a CEO, they have the same type of structure that we do. And they have a floor where everybody's calling in, just like the stock market. They're calling up, hey, tech support, I see a problem with your machine. Go ahead and let us in. Don't do it. First of all, Microsoft never, and no computer company ever, is going to say, hey, I see a problem with your computer. Let me remote in and fix it for you. Just think about that. You're laughing because it's funny. There's 1 billion computers out there. You think they got time for that? Even with AI, they don't. But the idea is that there again, when you see something suspicious, when you see that pop up on your screen saying, hey, we detect a compromise, call this number, don't do it, okay? Like they can make those pop-ups appear pretty much anywhere, especially off of websites. So at home, work, in the community, the growing use of technology along with these cyber threats makes us have to think about security a lot more. When I think of the early days of compute, and I thought, hey, somebody got my account, what are they going to get? I didn't do online banking. I didn't do anything. Now my whole world's there, and you almost don't have a choice. Now, with that said, that's nothing to worry about as long as you're being careful. Remember, when in doubt, we delete, okay, always. So, phishing scams, lottery scams, advanced fees for guaranteed loan or credit card, the Nigerian scams. Do you know why they're still around after all these years? Because they work. Exactly. I can't tell you how many times that prince has offered to put that $6 million in my account, and I get to keep some of it. What's to lose? I'm telling you, I've been in this business long enough. I know people that have fallen for that scam. It's sad. Okay, a quick story for you. I love stories. When I worked, I came from Shippensburg University. I was there 27 years. We had a UPS store on campus. And I used to go see Casey all the time because I'm always returning stuff to Amazon. By the way, Alexa, she's always listening. She's always listening. By the way, these things are always listening, whether they're on or off. Okay, it's a security feature, supposedly safety feature. Anyway, Casey said this woman came in one day and she had this magazine she wanted to send to, some Eastern Soviet bloc country, and she wanted to insure it for $25,000. And Casey's like, it's just a magazine. She said, well, open it up. Every third page there's a couple $100 in there. Here somebody had gotten her to want to send this money to, somewhere, and she blindly, thank God, Casey questioned her and's like, are you sure? And she didn't do it. One more Casey story. Woman came in with a great big box of iPhones trying to ship it to, because there's a lot of technology that can't leave this country or to go to other countries. She had spent almost 50 grand on these phones. And then the FBI had to come in and take them because she was trying to, so I don't know how that ever worked out for the person, but they were able to stop that. I'm really hoping she got her money back. But the idea being is, man, if somebody's asking you to do something that doesn't seem right, don't do it. Even if you have a slight inkling, that doesn't look right. Guess what? It ain't right. Remember your parents used to tell you, if it looks bad, if it's too good to be true, it is. And there's no such thing as a free lunch. Well, you understand what that means. Nobody's going to offer you the world for nothing. Nobody's going to say, hey, I'll fix your computer, let me remote in. That's not going to happen. So, what you should do if you spot a fish. I used to have this cool game that I used to make my campus do. It was called Spot the Fish. And we would send out different types of communication and let people try to determine what made it look like a fish. And things have gotten so much better over the last few years. And with AI helping, we'll get to that. AI is good and bad. Like any technology, it's a double-edged sword, and it's how you're going to use it. So, what do you do if you spot a fish? Do verify that the communication is real. And contact the sender through a known phone number or email. Remember I said you got that email from your bank saying, hey, there's a problem with your account? Pick up the phone and call the number you always call the bank. It's coming up in a minute, but another thing. Dear customer, these companies know who you are. If you get an email that says, dear customer, or dear your email address, 98% is fake. It's going to say, dear Greg, dear Leslie. It knows who you're dealing with. Now, that doesn't always guarantee it, but there's a whole lot better chance if it's using your real name that it's legit than just a dear customer or dear your email. You can use email filters. Many services have filters that prevent phishing messages from ever reaching inboxes. And what do you do when you see it? Just delete it. Story time again. When you get those unsolicited emails, and at the bottom there's an unsubscribe link, by God, by all means, don't click that unsubscribe link. Because what that's going to do, it's going to sign you up for 1 million more. Back to that fish. Back to the idea of fishing. I'm throwing out this gigantic net, okay? I don't know if I got legit email addresses or not. I'm just sending it to any kind of letter combination at gmail.com I can figure out. That's how they do this stuff. So when you hit unsubscribe, they say, yep, we got a live email address. Now we're going to pound the heck out of it. Because when you hit that unsubscribe, that comes back and says, oh, hey, gday@psl.org is a legit email address because I got a reply. Now we'll put that on a list and hit them 1 million times more. So I think I started to tell the story. My sister calls me up one day. You'd be proud of me. I went through and clicked on unsubscribe and all those emails. I said, that email account's probably no good anymore. Because, you're letting the threat actors know. Now, on the flip side of that, if I go to Walmart and I sign up for a list and I have an unsubscribe link, that's legit. I signed up for it. That unsubscribe's going to work.
The other thing is to report. On MSN, there's a report. I used to do that, and I've stopped, and I don't get nearly the number of emails that I got when I was reporting them as being bad. So don't click on report.
A good point there. There again, the best thing that I can recommend is you just delete those messages. Just delete them, okay? Now don't click on any links. I'm here to tell you, I don't know, in all my years at Compute, I don't click on links in emails. I realize that that's supposed to be a benefit to me, that I can click on that link and it'll take me there. What did I tell you in the beginning? I want to be in control of my Compute. So I don't click on anything. If I get an email from somewhere, I go to that website, a legitimate way that I know how to get there. If I get something from my bank, I know to go to my bank. I know to call my bank from the phone number that's in my phone, not from the phone number that came on that email. Okay? Spoofing is a big thing. I can, like I said, the threat actors can make an email look like it came from anyone, anytime, anywhere. and have legitimacy, have it look legitimate. Don't click on attachments you weren't expecting or recognize. I get this all the time. Oh, hey, Aunt Sally sent me a spreadsheet. Were you expecting a spreadsheet from Aunt Sally? Seriously, that's how a machine can get infected like that, by opening up a malicious attachment. I used to go to a lot of hacking stuff. I was into the certified ethical hacker world for a while, and some of the stuff I've seen is just would blow your mind. But I was at a conference one time where a guy had 2 laptops. He sent an email from the one to the other, and on the receiving laptop, it was an Excel spreadsheet, and he enabled macros. Okay, macros, for those of you that don't know, are just a bunch of instructions that are recorded. But guess what? That's where you hide malware. Like, you hide something that can take over your machine in a macro, because the minute you open that file and you say enable macros, it executes that code and your machine's infected. So he sent that email from one machine to the other. The minute he opened that Excel spreadsheet on the remote machine, the machine that sent it, webcam, full control of the machine, remote machine.
Does it help to block sender?
Absolutely, you can block sender, okay? That will at least stop from that sender. However, it's a never-ending thing. Somebody else have a question?
Just want to make sure I understood. So you're saying, even though I get this thing all the time of, I just lost it, saying to stop or report a suspected scam.
Can you put the mic closer to your mouth?
Yeah. So when we get the thing at the on my phone, I always get this thing at the bottom saying if you want to report this as a here it is, stop or report spam. So you're saying never do that?
You can do that. You've had good luck not doing that. That's generally your carrier that's going to take a look at that. That's why that's popping up that way.
Mm-hmm.
My problem was that every time I clicked on, report it, I would get 28 emails from the same, under slightly different email addresses. So all you're doing is confirming the validity of your email address when you click on that. Now I stopped doing it, and the number of ones, I still get a ton of them, but nowhere near the number I got before.
The thing is, it's an algorithm, okay? It's a recipe, and it changes constantly. Like, there again, I'm going to go back to a story. When I was at Shippensburg, we blocked a lot of stuff from ever getting into people's inboxes. But every now and then, that pesky, one with Viagra would get through, and people would be like, wait a minute, we're spending all this money to protect our users. How are these, easy ones getting through? It's because they would tweak it enough. They'd know what was causing that to block that, and they would tweak their headers enough to know, boom, it's going to get through. Okay? It'll stop. And, oh my gosh. This last one, if I could make the whole slide this big of just this. Don't send personal information online or share it over the phone. I was listening to my wife the other day. She's on the phone and she's like, oh yeah, my husband got his health insurance when he retired from the state. I'm like, who are you on the phone with and what are you talking about? She got a cold call saying because she used to be a social worker in Florida that she was eligible for health insurance at a reduced rate. And she actually started listening to that. I'm like, for crying out loud, you're married to a cybersecurity expert and you're on the phone giving away details? I completely lost it. Not bad. And I didn't even curse. But I'm like, hang up the phone. You're done with this conversation. Because the big thing she kept saying is, well, just send me the details. Send me how much it's going to cost. He kept dragging it on. Oh, no, we got to talk about this, and this. When those threat actors get you on a call, they're trying to get every piece of information out of you, whether you think it means anything or not. How many of you are on Facebook? Too damn many. All right, now, all kidding aside, when you see, so Facebook is one of the most evil data collection things there ever was. Don't get me wrong. I've been on Facebook since day one because I was in education, so I had it, I don't know, 10 years before it became to the public. But when you see these things out there that look like an innocuous post, what was your car in high school? What's your favorite color? What do those sound like to you? They sound like security questions to me, okay? And when you see that online on a Facebook poll, what was your first slow dance, whatever, they're grabbing these bits and pieces enough that I can build your life from looking at your social media. Story time again. Certified Ethical Hacker Conference, one of the best ones I ever went. I got to see Watson at Harvard and do a tabletop. It was one of the greatest things I've ever done. But they had the certified ethical hacker there, and she picked someone. I saw that laying there. I was going to make sure you got that back. She picked someone at random off of Facebook, and she decided to stalk this person digitally. All in, you know, she is a certified ethical hacker. This is all for education. So she picked this guy and knew where he shopped, knew who his family was, because he'd talk about, oh, hey, I went and saw Aunt Sally today, blah, blah, blah. The guy wore a Fitbit every day, and he went running. That Fitbit was uploading where his run was every day. So she knew there was 45 minutes every day that he was out running. She went to his house, took pictures. She ended up getting a hold of the guy and saying, look, here's what I pieced together from your life, from just stuff you've posted online. Knew where he shopped, knew what his major was, knew where he went to college, knew his family members, knew his habits. That's pretty sad. Yes, sir.
Getting back to unsubscribe, there's something else that goes with it. If I get something from an environmental organization, one is unsubscribe and what's the other one is delete or something.
Well, delete would just get rid of it.
Right.
When always delete. Delete is always good. When in question, don't hit unsubscribe. The only time to use unsubscribe is, hey, I signed up for Walmart. I signed up for X. If that stuff came unsolicited, just delete it. Just delete it.
Question. I wonder when you hit the delete button, it doesn't take it off your computer. It just sends it somewhere else on the computer. Is that stuff lying there waiting to be retrieved somehow?
It actually will put it in. Depends on, you know, what type of client you're using. If you're using like Outlook, which I doubt many of you are, but your recycle bin purges itself every so often. So even if you delete it, it'll purge after a while. I think it's 30 days. It depends.
You may be going to get to this, but for a lot of us, our health insurance companies and our care providers have all these portals, and they're, and even to go to an appointment, you have to pre-register. What do you think about that?
It's the way of the future. There again, have multi-factor set up on that portal so nobody's going in as you. I use those portals every day too.
You just said don't use unsubscribe. Why not?
Because if it was an unlegit, something you didn't sign up for, the minute you hit it unsubscribe, it's going to say, hey, we have a real email address here. Let's send them 1 million more spam. That's how they know, because somebody clicked. But that sharing personal information online kills me. Story again. On Facebook this morning, here my sister posted a picture of her grandson like all Eastered up and everything, and she used AI. I posted, would you people stop, I said, please, would you people please stop putting biometric data into AI? AI is about collecting information. How do you think it gets smarter? I just finished teaching a 5-week AI class at a community center, and the looks on people's faces when I tell them, like, oh, well, you know, so just the way AI works, it's all about collecting data. So if you're, and we'll talk about AI in a couple slides here. I'm surely going to go over my hour, but I hope you guys don't mind. It'll be close. So I've been talking about spoofing. Always verify the sender's identity before trusting an email. What's wrong with that email there? I have it circled in red. It says, dear customer. They don't know me, okay? Without a shadow of a doubt, when I see dear customer, dear gday@psl.org, I know it's trash. If Apple sent me an email, guess what it would say? Hey, Greg. Okay? Now, I don't even trust it 100% with my name, but here's the rule of thumb. If it doesn't have your name, it's fake. If it has your name, there's a chance it's good. But you'll have to check it out. There again, I'm not going to blindly click that link because there again, I didn't talk about it yet, but I can make I can make a website look like anything. I can totally duplicate your bank's website like that. Okay, anyone can. It's easy. Okay, when you're clicking on that link, who's in control? It ain't you. It's that link. Okay, so back to, you need to make sure that you are in control of what you're doing. This is another biggie that's kind of come on the site, on the scene in the last couple years. I talked about how good multi-factor is, but sometimes people make mistakes. They still give up their credentials. So there's something called multi-factor fatigue. In other words, if I get Ed's credentials and he's got 2-factor, I can just keep hammering trying to log into his account. And hopefully he's going to say, man, why is my 2-factor kicking all the time? I keep hitting no and it keeps popping up. Don't ever click yes, because then you've just given away the keys to the kingdom. If you have multi-factor set up on an account and you are getting requests, you've been compromised. Somebody has your password. Change it immediately. The only way multi-factor is going to hit your device is if somebody's trying to log into your account. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. It's the second factor. So when I go to log into my bank, Authenticator's going to pop up and say, hey, I see you trying to log in. Please enter this number, and it will let me in. If my 2-factor is launching on its own, somebody is trying to get into my account. Somebody has my username and password.
How do you, when do you see that it's launching on its own? I mean,
like I could be sitting here right now and Authenticator could pop up and say, hey, you're trying to log in, and I'm not. That's the point, I'm not. If that happens, somebody's got your username and password. And it's not the end of the world. Change your password immediately.
How do you get multi-factor on a site that doesn't offer it to you?
If the site doesn't offer it, it's just not available yet. Everything is going that way. Everything is going to go to multi-factor eventually. Absolutely. Good question. Very good question.
When I go onto my bank account on the computer, in the past, I put my ID in and I put my password in. And now the bank sends me a little thing and will send you a special number. Yep. Is that what you call multi-factor?
That is multi-factor. It's asking for that second factor.
Now, the last time I did this, before that, I mean, they asked me for this number that they're going to send me. A little thing flipped over my computer that said, the bank will never ask you, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, what is this doing here? It's, I mean, all I wanted to do is put this factor in that I was waiting to get. So you get interference even though you're doing, from my end, everything right.
And you know, I'm not sure. My guess is that you have some kind of antivirus or some malware program on your machine that's giving you that message, because it's saying, hey, I'm seeing that second factor, please make sure that it's legit. There again, pretty famous story a couple years ago, the CEO of Uber left his phone in a car, and how's irony for that? But he got hit with that two-factor fatigue. So he got another device, and it kept getting hammered, and he thought it had something to do with that device, approved it, and somebody had his account hacked. It's that simple. So like I said, if you receive that MFA request without trying to do a login, somebody's got your creds. Boy, this is one that I hate to have to put up here, but porting requests. This has happened a couple of times at PSL. People getting their phone number stolen, okay? So criminals use port outs as a way to steal your phone number so they can access your financial or social media accounts. Another thing that they do too is they'll say, hey, I see this a lot on Facebook. Hey, I want to do this deal with you, but I need to send a code to verify that you're like a real human being. How stupid is that? Has anybody seen that before? But that's kind of a common thing. And the idea is that I have some of your credentials for somewhere, and I'm going to generate a second factor, and you're going to give that to me over the phone.
Wait.
Oh, sorry, I'll get there. I kind of got off track. A port out is stealing your phone number. It's whether it be your home number or your cell number. The reason that's important, what can I do? I can take your phone number from you right now if I tricked you into doing it. Your phone number belongs to you, and you can port that. Port means I'm going somewhere else. I'm with Verizon now, I want to go to AT&T, but I want to keep my same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 phone number. I'm porting that number over. What people are doing is stealing your phone numbers. They're porting them to another carrier so that then they can use the two-factor or whatever to get into your accounts. Okay? So back to how does this all start? Probably a simple phone call, trying to gather information. When somebody starts asking you questions on the phone that seem weird, what do? Hang up. Don't give them any answers. Don't give them anything. Because even little bits and pieces of information that seem innocuous by themselves, put enough of them together, they paint a pretty interesting picture. Okay? So be proactive. If you don't have a PIN or a password to verify when calling about your phone account, call the phone company and ask. AT&T, anytime I try to do anything, the first thing I ask, what's your PIN? Even if I'm on the phone with them. I can give them my social security number. I can give them everything. They want that PIN. That is the way to know they have me, like the right person. So I would certainly add a PIN to your account. Stay vigilant. Enable email and text notifications for financial and other important accounts. I know that kind of goes against what I said before, because you can get legitimate alerts. You just need to be able to determine the difference between the legitimate and illegitimate. But with that said, you're not going to get a legitimate alert that says, hey, your account's been compromised. Come here and click this and we'll fix it for you. That doesn't happen that way. Okay? Don't respond. If someone calls and tests and asks for personal information, don't provide it. If they call to claim to be a business you're familiar with, hang up that business and call using a number you trust. And don't overshare. Prime example, okay? I know somebody at PSL, or associated with PSL, that got a new cell phone through Comcast. No big deal there other than somehow somebody got his number, called him up and started asking the right questions. They ported his number out, stole his number, and then tried to get into his bank accounts because, you know, that having that phone number is huge. So back to, I was talking about this earlier. We were all raised to trust people. We can't do that anymore. It's become that bad. When in doubt, delete.
How about biometric authentication? Fingerprint or face recognition?
Good as you can get. But, there's always a but. Don't put it into AI. Do you all know how much information's in a picture? You probably don't, okay? Since digital cameras have come out, there's all kinds of data in a picture that you take with your phone. Longitude and latitude, time of day, camera, the phone it was taken on. It's called metadata. I don't know if any of you watched the, I always refer back to this, I don't know why, but the Johnny Depp trial, when she had those pictures that she purported she took of Johnny on her phone, when they looked at the metadata, they found out she was lying. It was totally taken on a completely different phone at a different place. My point being is, there's a lot more in there than that picture. But back to your point, guess what is in that picture? How far apart my eyes are, you know, like all the stuff that makes my face my face. Why would I put that into AI? When I see these people that do, you know, because they have all this cutesy stuff, put your picture into AI and it'll put like your favorite things behind you and stuff. I look at that and I'm like, man, they're ripe to get pinched because they put that information in there. Yeah, this is me, I'm a Phillies fan, you know, whatever you put in there to create that collage. I'm sure all of you have seen them, the AI generated collages. Mine would have 2 Yorkies in it. They're a pain, but I love them. You had a question?
Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like go into ChatGPT or in any AI agent and drop a photo in there.
Chat. Okay, chat. I don't know.
ChatGPT, Claude AI, there's a million of them out there. Okay. But the concept is, once I put that picture in there and I get that enhancement, it looks super cool. But guess what? All that data went in there. That concerns me a lot.
Behind you.
Can't AI already scrape out all the pictures of me that are online already?
In theory, yeah, but that's not happening yet. Like, trust me, Facebook's got all that stuff. They have all that data. The big thing about AI, at least at this point in time, is it's pretty much contained. Like it doesn't scour the web. When you ask AI a question, it's pulling its answer from stuff that other people have put in there. It's not going out and crawling the web like a search engine. That's the huge difference. It's using what's called a large language model. It learns by every word that's ever put in there, and then what AI does is it sorts and categorizes those words based on different criteria. But the idea being, it's not going out on the web to find out what the best restaurant in Ocean City, Maryland is. It's gathering that from what other people have put in there in the past.
So what I've observed recently when I send an email via Gmail, so at the end of it, there is an AI synthesis of the whole conversation that is very weird. But why is that happening?
A lot of these companies are starting to put AI into things, you know, things that we didn't necessarily ask for it in. So like you said, that Gmail thing, it'll say, hey, here's a synopsis of this email. It's just part of what Google does. It's you know, there again, you don't need to, it just auto-generates it. There again, it's learning from all that. That's how AI learns, is through ingestion. And you're only going to see more of that type of stuff. So, you know, as PSL company wide, I've actually blocked AI from any of our computers to be able to get to. It's not quite in place yet, but it will be, because I don't want PHI going out that I have no control over. Okay, we're actually using Copilot that's within our domain, so it's very safe. Thank God I know about this stuff.
Is there a way we could get in touch with you if we have a question about if something is safe?
No. Yes, I'm here to tell you, I don't even know how many emails I get, but you know what? I'll never get tired of helping people. I will never get tired of if somebody's sending me something and saying, hey, is this legit? I was telling artists, I think, I sleep like 5 hours a night. I don't sleep a lot, but I seem to function okay. I'm not dead or anything, and my brain seems to function okay. So I'm on email a lot. If you can find my email, and it's easy enough to find, you can reach out to me. I'm okay with that. That oversharing, though, don't forget that. So back to that poured out request. If something happens, you'll get a loss of service. Your phone will just go to 911. Like it'll just show that you can only call 911. If you see that happen, call your carrier right away. Something happened. On your cell phone. That's a cell phone. Cell phone. Borrow somebody else's and get a hold of your carrier, or use a computer too. Works well. So, oh lordy, smishing. This is phishing through SMS or text messaging. Okay. This one is so bad, the FBI issued a warning on it, the turnpike tolls. So take a look at that for a second. It says you owe $86, but they'll settle for $8.60. To me, that shows scam right away. But think about this for just a quick second. People aren't going to bitch so much about losing $8.60 as they would $86. So they're hoping that people that fall for this aren't going to report it. Oh, I'm going to look stupid. It only cost me $8.60. If I can get 1,000 people to do that, I'm in the money. And that's why they do it, because they know some people are going to respond. I had something in it, I guess my slide was a little bit dated, but you always got to worry about the holidays. That's when these threat actors come out of the woodwork. They know you're online shopping. They know you're looking for stuff. You need to be very careful. They definitely take advantage of holiday seasons. If there's a natural disaster, things like that, that's when they come out of the woodwork and, you know, like, oh, hey, there was a hurricane. We need relief. You need to be very careful of that. Always remember, don't follow links in emails. Like, go to walmart.com. I got a quick story. This is a real quick one. I was looking at TVs a couple years ago, and all of a sudden, like in my Facebook feed, this same TV I'd been looking for showed up at like $600 less. I looked at the link, and guess what? It looked exactly like Walmart's page. They had duplicated that, and they created a scam page that had you could check out and pay for it. I'd have paid a lot of money for nothing had I done that. Back to that, if it's too good to be true, it's bad. I mentioned this earlier. Be on the lookout. Email from a trusted source, family or friend, urgently asking for help. Part of the reason this stuff works is because they want you to be scared. If you don't do this right now, you're going to jail. I'm coming right now. Well, of course I don't want to go to jail. Of course I'm going to take care of that. Fear and threat work well.
There was we've had a session like this previously, and one of the pieces of advice was to have a code word.
And that's a really good one for like family and stuff, so that you know. Especially with the advent of AI, you absolutely need to do that. And I talk more about that here in a minute too. But be on the lookout for seemingly legitimate background from a legitimate company indicating you need to take action. Dear customer, once again, take a look at that. And if you take a look at the email, even though it says security at paypal.com, if you look, it's security at PayPal, blah. Don't click on that link. Delete that message. If you think there's any shot that something's wrong with your PayPal account, what do? Go to PayPal or call a number I know, not a number that came in the email. Email from your financial institution indicating you need to take immediate action. How many of you, ever since you've been doing online banking, have ever legitimately got something from your bank saying you got to change something on your account? Never. Never. And never's a long time. It ain't going to start tomorrow. Delete, delete, delete. Introduces a problem that makes you confirm your information with a hyperlink. Hey, I got an important notice here. Verify your email address. They sent it to your email address. You don't need to verify. That's a scam all day too. You need to be very careful of that stuff. All right, so the most common scams: phishing scams, charity scams, investment scams, payment app, tax. They're all out there. Anything that you care about, they're coming after. Okay? It's unfortunate, but that's how it works. I got a really cool video coming up that we're going to get to. So, top 4 reasons. I mentioned this slightly a second ago. Greed, urgency, curiosity, fear. They play on those 4 things. One of those is going to trigger you. Oh my gosh, when's Travis and Taylor getting married? That would get my wife to click on anything. My wife's 56 years old. She thinks that's good. I don't know. Fear, urgency, greed, all those things. They're playing on your emotions. I talked about social engineering. So that's a way for people to get information out of you just by casual chat. So it's a way for people to give up confidential information, gain control, always know who you're communicating with. Story time. My advisor when I was an undergraduate, yes, he's still alive. And he's incredibly old, but really good friend of mine. And he came and saw me a couple years ago. He had got a new iPad, and he couldn't remember his wife's password to get into Yahoo. So he Googled Yahoo. Boom, first ad up with a phone number. Guess what? Wasn't Yahoo he called. I don't know who he called. But he said the minute he called that number, they're like, yep, we'll help you install this on your computer. He said the minute he saw his mouse moving and doing stuff, he shut off the computer, brought the computer in the next morning, sat it on my desk and said, Greg, I don't want another computer the rest of my life. This is what happened. And please use this as a cautionary tale. I said, Bob, I said, you did the right thing. You shut everything down. I'm sure they got nothing. But you shouldn't quit using computers. You just need to pay attention. And this is what bothers me. I blame Google for that because their sponsored ads, you need to pay attention to this. Their sponsored ads, they don't care who that ad is. So if I'm looking for Christmas trees and the first thing pops up there, you know, it may not be legit. It may be an ad. You need to be careful of that. I used to tell my kids this. You know, I was in higher ed a long time. First of all, the internet's not where you do real research, but if you are looking for something, try to find 2 or 3 things that say the same thing. Don't ever trust that first Google thing. All right, you're going to like this one, I think.
So back to this this hack, this Equifax hack. I mentioned earlier, they may have compromised the information of 143 million Americans, which is a lot of Americans. So in light of this, as a service to the public, we've actually done this before, and it's very effective. We asked people who are passing by our theater today what password they use to protect their personal information. And pay attention, please, because there are a lot of important tips to be shared here.
We are talking to people about the cybersecurity breach at Equifax, and in light of that, we're asking people how secure their internet passwords are. What do you use for an internet password?
You know, I usually stick to my last name. That's probably not the best thing to do, but I usually stick to my last name, a few digits, maybe like a hashtag or something, or...
How do you spell your last name?
Walker.
Walker?
Yeah.
W-A-L-K-E-R?
Yeah.
And then just a few numbers?
Yeah, I probably should have told you that.
And then a hashtag. Okay.
Yeah.
The numbers, like, what do you use, like your birthday or something, your area code?
Yeah, usually like, my birthday,
How old are you?
21.
What day you born?
November. No, the day, sorry, the 29th.
29th.
Pause in there for a second. I'll come back to that. Look how simple those questions were, and he didn't feel like he was giving anything up. Sorry, I'll jump to that spot again. Oops.
So back to this, a lot of
the passwords are. What do you,
I usually stick to my last digits, maybe like a hashtag or something, or...
How do you spell your last name?
Walker.
Walker?
Yeah.
W-A-L-K-E-R?
Yeah.
And then just a few numbers?
Yeah, I probably should have told you that.
And then a hashtag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The numbers, like, what do you use, like your birthday or something, your area code?
Yeah, usually like, my birthday,
How old are you?
21.
What day you born?
November. No, the day, sorry, the 29th.
29th of November?
Yeah.
So Walker, 11/29/95.
Woo! I probably shouldn't say that, but.
That's okay.
Yeah.
How strong is your internet password?
Strong.
What sort of things do you use?
Capital letters, lowercase letters, numbers, characters, everything.
What's a current password you're using?
I don't really want to tell the current password that I'm using, to be honest.
You think I'm a hacker?
Not necessarily. Well, I mean, I guess, you know, like 63XJ9 hat symbol, at symbol, basically. All characters, pretty random assortment, and I just try to memorize.
Use that one?
Yes.
Thank you. What is your internet password that you use for your email?
In and Out 2017.
That was easy.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
My internet password is capital W @TER capital B 0 NG Waterbong.
Yeah, you probably get that.
My internet password is okay?
Yeah.
Mila for what's MILR64.
Well, that's nice. Now Americans can hack into a Russian website. Oh, that'll be fun. Hello, sir. What is your name?
Jerry Reed,
Jerry, where are you from?
Whittier, California.
What do you do out there besides scare school children? How strong is your internet password?
I'd say pretty strong.
Yeah. What sort of things do you use for it?
You know, things that I like.
What sorts of things do you like?
Maybe a dog, an animal, a place I've been, someone I know.
So like Rover Mental Ward.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, well, that's...
Look how easy those people gave that information up. And like it sounds like it's funny. That's how they make you feel at ease. Let's get a conversation going so I can make you give me a little bit more information about yourself. So, tips, limit your public information. Be skeptical. We've talked about that all along. Trust but verify. Call them back through the main switchboard. Never give passwords over the phone. So, back to oversharing. Soldiers were wearing fitness trackers in Afghanistan, and they were out running around the base at night. And they were uploading that stuff to Fitbit. Look what it drew, the dimensions of the Air Force base in Afghanistan. Okay? Not intentionally done. Nobody knew. Now soldiers can't take any data exfiltrating devices into a combat zone, but there's something that just totally innocuously gave away our position. Okay? That's how simple these things happen. So, couple practices. I'll step on the gas. We're getting close to the end here. Best Wi-Fi practices. Don't use public Wi-Fi. It's not encrypted. Okay, when you go to McDonald's, Starbucks, you can connect to that stuff. There's no password. I can be sitting there with a computer looking at everything that you're sending across because it's sent across in clear text. Always connect to an encrypted network. When in doubt, this thing right here is encrypted. Phones have been encrypted since 3G. Keep your devices up to date. I can't stress this enough. I look down at my wife's phone and I see like that red badge of 3 next to the updates. Run the updates. They're always security related. They may say, oh, hey, we're getting a slick new interface or all this or that. It's always security related. Keep your devices up to date. If you travel, turn off automatically connected networks. Your phones are chatty. They like to talk. They want to say, hey, what's out there? What can I connect to? Here's a network I'm looking for. Where's it at? You're all retired now, so you don't have to worry about this much anymore, but lots of times at conferences, these threat actors will show up. They'll set up devices that look for what networks you're looking for. It'll produce that network. Your phone will connect to it, and then it's just sucking all your data, anything you do. It's called a Pineapple Wi-Fi. They're an amazing device on the certified side. Be leery of IoT, the Internet of Things. Okay, this is like your vacuum cleaner. This is, although, you know, I hate the IoT, but I did just get a vacuum that mops and sweeps, and it's amazing. I just can't believe it. This little robot, and our dogs like try to get on a standoff with it. It's kind of funny. The reason I don't like those devices is there's no security on them. There's no username and password to log into them. There hasn't been any types of exploits on that yet. I just worry over time. There again, the less stuff I can have on my network, the better. Okay. The last one on this page, don't use public charging stations. This one was so bad the FBI put a warning out too. Like when you're in an airport and you see those things where all those chargers is, they make cables that have a little Wi-Fi dongle in them. You plug it into your phone. Yeah, it charges your phone, but it also takes all your data. Okay? Not always, but you don't use public charging stations. I told people this, if you have your own block, it's okay to plug into power and charge. But when you see those kiosks, like leave your phone here, plug it in, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? All right. Oh, boy. We could spend a whole day on this slide. I'm going to tell you about AI a little bit. It's a double-edged sword. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a great time saver. It's not going to replace man. I hope not, anyway. Or woman, or anyone. But it should help enhance your life. I said should help. Okay, I mentioned Alexa earlier. I don't know, I have like 8 of them in my house. But I have her severely limited. Turn off sidewalk, look it up. You definitely want that turned off. But since I went to the new AI, I've corrected her at least 4 or 5 times on stuff I've asked. I'm pretty good at trivia. So usually when I ask a question, I already know the answer. And 4 or 5 times, she's given me flat out wrong information. And I would say, Alexa, that's wrong. Oh, you're right. I noticed this is like something simple as show me a picture of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it would put up a picture of like Sly Stallone. Like wasn't that far off, but just enough that. And this is the other thing that drives me nuts. I tell my wife this all the time too. Social media is the king of spreading disinformation. Disinformation. You got to be careful of that. And AI is not going to be much helpful for that either. So some things to think about with AI. lack of transparency, where the data coming from. I think I just said I taught a 5-week AI class at a community center in Harrisburg. And one of the things that I talked about was there's so many different AIs out there. There's Claude, there's Gemini, there's ChatGPT, there's, well, Copilot's now ChatGPT anyway. There's Grok, there's a million of them out there. Well, not a million, but there's a lot of them out there. I expect that to kind of condense at some point, like the browser wars on the early days of the internet. I expect there'll be a couple of really good AIs that come out of all this. But with that said, just be careful the type of data you're putting in there. Because I'm here to tell you, AI wants that data. That's how it learns. That's how it learns. Social manipulation, deepfake AI. How many of you have heard of that? So deepfake AI, I don't even have to be here right now. I could create a video of myself that isn't me delivering this content. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, a dentist's office did a commercial with an AI Tom Hanks. He sued the heck out of him and won, as he should have. I think it's just a matter of time until we're seeing like brand new John Wayne movies, like things like that, because they can, with AI, they can make all that happen. Lack of data privacy. I've talked about this before. AI wants your data, period. It's going to give you answers, but it's all about getting what it can get from you. Potential bias. Early on, so AI's been around since the 60s. I don't want you to think anything that this is new, but it's the compute power that's kind of caught up with it. And now we have compute power to deal with these large amounts of data, okay? Hence why the cost of chips and all that stuff is going up, because everything's going to AI. But early on, a lot of AI had had bias built into it. You know, you would ask a question, it would give you an answer that could have a potential slant, whether it be political, racial, whatever. They fixed that by now. But as I always used to tell my kids too, it only has as much data as it has. Like, it's not going out and looking for more. So for those of you that have done research in your life, you know you need a sample big enough to make a generalization. Early AI, a lot of it doesn't have enough data to give it a decent thing. Influence decision making. It's designed to help humans make decisions. Okay? I watch a lot of YouTube at night, little short stuff. And I was watching this really cool thing on automation in the 1920s, machine automation. And they'd say, man, this whole line can make this widget down here, and the machine does it all the way, but you know what? We still need human eyes on it to make sure that each section's getting done right. AI's no different. You still need human eyes on it. Accelerated hacking. I don't even want to think about that, because if that stuff's been introduced into a chat agent, that information's going to be there. Like, hey, how do I hack a business that's running a FortiGate firewall in Microsoft? Like, there's stuff out there that's going to tell you that. And on the dark web, so AI has what's called guardrails. Like, you can't put in there, how do I kill myself? Because it's not going to answer you. There are safety things built in there. But on the dark web, there's AI that there are no guardrails. You can ask it, how do I rob a bank? How do I do this? And it's going to give you the answer, the best answer it can. So, review concepts. We're coming down to the finish line here now. Keep your software up to date. Use strong passwords in a password manager. For those of you that have an Apple device, passwords can maintain all your device. If you have a PC or something else, there's lots of free stuff out there. LastPass, L-A-S. I'm trying to think if there's a T on it. LastPass. That actually is probably coming up in another slide. But you use password managers, turn on multi-factor, recognize and report phishing or delete for sure. Passwords, this used to be a thing that they used to encourage frequent password changes. That's not so much anymore. Now it's more about length. It isn't even about complexity anymore, okay? At PSL, 16, that sounds bad, but I'll tell you what you do. You pick 3 words that mean nothing. Motorcycle, chicken, tree. There's my 16-character password, and nobody's ever going to give it. No, that's not my password, but nice try. See, you're listening. She's listening. You get the point. Passwords don't have to be complicated. And back in the days when people hacked for passwords, they used what called dictionary passwords. So I wouldn't say bird, chicken, pig. They're all farm animals. I picked 3 things that just totally are not related. There's no way, shape, or form those things matter. So, you know, chicken cart, baseball. Or the other thing is to add, like, I love, the O is a 0, and days is an at. You can do that as well. Don't use any personal information in passwords. Don't use birthdays. Don't use kids' names. Don't use any of that stuff. That's the stuff that hackers are going to try to guess. Yes? A year, or I've had passwords that are 20 years old. They haven't changed. You know, I mean, it's if there's a breach, like if you had like one of those Yahoo's accounts that were breached, change the password. But yearly is really what they're recommending now. I want to say when I was at SHIP, it was every 90 days, which was a pain. At PSL, I think it's twice a year because we went to the 15-character password. That's definitely the way to go. Oh my gosh, this last thing. Don't use the same password for different sites. Because if I get your password for one, then I'm going to go to all of them, and I'm going to try that combination everywhere. And that sounds like a pain, but with AI, it'll be real easy to do. Okay, so don't reuse the same passwords. I talked about using multi-factor. As I talked about, make sure that all your stuff is updated on a regular basis. Delete any requests for financial information and passwords. When in doubt, we delete. All right. Don't open attachments unless the sender can be verified. There again, if you got a Word document from me later today, you better be calling me or emailing me saying, did you mean to send this to me before you open it? Just because you know the person doesn't make it safe. Okay? Slow down, pay attention to details, and ask for help. If you have been pinched or you think something's wrong, I know this is hard, remain calm. Turn off your computer if you think you've been compromised. Change your passwords immediately. And if you need assistance for that, you can ask. Watch out for signs of identity theft or place a hold on your credit. You can go to Equifax and you can put a hold on your credit. I actually did that one time and then forgot and then went to apply for credit. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, oh yeah, I turned that on. But it worked. I mean, I got to test it. It worked. And check. I used to have a guy that said this doesn't work, but haveibeenpwned.com. Like I said, I'll send you guys this slide deck. It's a website.
As an attachment?
Yes, it'll be an attachment.
And you don't really want us to call you.
Artists, I will send that attachment to you. It will be a PDF, and it'll be coming in the next day or so. With that said, there are sites out there where you can look to see if your information's been compromised. Have I been pwned is one of them. Putting your phone number or email. What it is that all came from a video game. Have I been owned? They made a typo, and they put pwned instead of owned. And that's kind of where that took off. So PWND, have I been PWNED. Like I said, I'll send that out. But if you put your an email address in, it'll tell you if it's showed up with a compromise, and it'll show you the password that it showed up with the compromise. So it's pretty impressive. And I guarantee some of your stuff's in there, but a lot of it's very old.
Question.
Yes.
Do you have or could you start some systematic way of communicating with us as residents? from week to week, month to month, whatever.
Oh my
to keep us up
gosh,
to
you
date.
want to make me work harder?
Sure.
I love that idea, actually. So when I was at Shippensburg, I would send out like a monthly thing. I don't know if I have the time to do that, but I would love to do something and communicate with you all and tell you, hey, here's the latest stuff we're seeing. Because it changes every day. It literally changes every day. I promise you, I will take that under consideration and come up with something. I really like that idea. Yes, ma'am.
Do you recommend password managers?
I do. Okay, so LastPass on the PC side, or if you're a Mac user, Passwords. It works across all your devices, as will LastPass. Okay, it's LastPass, LASSPASS. Like I said, I'm going to send this out, but there's some great resources for seniors out there that are free. CISA. I've been a member of CISA for many, many, many years. They are the premier. That's the government. That's one of the few things the government does right, is they got this cybersecurity stuff with CISA right. So they have some awareness programs and resources for older Americans. ARP has a really nifty thing on personal technology, the FBI and the FTC. There again, these are additional resources, additional tools to help you bolster your arsenal against these threat actors. I'm here to tell you, every day, they're trying to get each and every one of yours information in here, mine included, everybody. That's what they do. When in doubt, we? All right. Always, always, always. Remember we used to say never question authority? Always question anything that comes via electronic communication. As I said before, please reach out with a known venue of communication.
I saw a tip last week. It said something like, if your mother tells you she loves you, believe her, but check it out.
I like that. I like that. Well, I hope everybody learned something here today. I hope I scared you. But you know what? I don't want to scare you away from using technology. I want to scare you into using it more effectively. When in doubt, we delete. When we're not sure about something, we ask for help.